Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Roll call.
John.
Present.
Barb.
Here.
Sheree.
Here.
Beth.
Here.
Chris.
Here.
Michael.
Here.
Barbara.
Here.
Lupe.
Here.
And Jane Maybe.
And Jane, we're trying to get, so. Are there any additions or corrections or modifications to the agenda? If not, do I need a motion there? I don't think I do.
You were going to modify the agenda, remember?
Oh, modification, yes. I'm moving item 8.7 up below 6, right after 6.
Below 5.
There's 6 presentation, after 5, okay, that's better. Sorry. All those do I have a motion to approve the agenda with that correction?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Public comment. We have no public, I guess. We have public, but we don't have comment. Okay, at this time, I would like to read the resolution. Get the right one here. Whereas, beginning in 1982, Bertha Kent was diligently served the Urbana community by working at the Urbana Free Library as a circulation clerk. Whereas the library has thrived and expanded, and Bertha's playing a role in its success. And whereas Bertha has touched an untold number of patrons and staff, welcome patrons, and being a familiar face for them behind the circulation desk, carefully checking items in and out for thousands of patrons, answering questions both in person and on the phone, making and renewing library cards for patrons, being a regular, knowledgeable member of the circulation outreach effort in both the schools and the community, playing an integral role in the library, home delivery programs for many years, picking up library items from book returns at the Urbana High School and Middle School to enhance convenience for patrons, being a source of incredible instructional knowledge for new and experienced staff as a result of her longevity. And whereas Bertha has influenced many young people in the Urbana community to work for Urbana School District 116 for many years and building a relationship that carried over to her work at the Urbana Free Library, and whereas Bertha decided to retire on December of 2019, now therefore be it resolved that the Urbana Free Library Board of Trustees, Urbana, Illinois, does hereby extend to Bertha its sincere thanks and appreciation for a job well done, and whereas wishes her a most rewarding and enjoyable next phase of her life. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Bertha, would you please come up? I would come back. This has been the one smiling face that I got to know early
Yes.
on in my tenure, and I've
Yes.
always relied upon you for answers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bertha. Stay right here. Perfect, thank you.
Okay, we have the technology plan. Drew,
It'd be hard to follow that, Drew.
no flowers. You have to talk first.
They were pretty. So,
Call Jane.
so this is the technology plan for this year. Gonna try to get her again.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Bye.
Jane?
Hello?
Oh,
Great,
good.
all right.
We've started the meeting without you, but you're on now, and we've just come to Drew for the presentation of the technology plan. Go ahead.
All right. So this is the technology plan for the 2021 year here. This was put together with the tech committee with suggestions from different departments, representation. Right now we have parts of the strategic plan with different activities placed throughout, but as more activity plans are created by the departments, we'll try to rent it out with everyone's. But it's pretty well represented by everyone. So the first activity on here falls under Embrace. So our 2 digital signs are very popular in the library, and the archives has suggested to install signage in the archives to inform patrons about upcoming events and to use for events in the archives. Also, we're talking about refreshing technology in the circulation/checkout area. Some of our circulation machines are over 10 years old, so we've replaced most of them, and we'll be replacing the rest. And our self-check machines, the kiosks are aging, and we're going to replace those with our own technology that we can support instead of having to call and be at their mercy. Those are especially popular with the children and in the DVD areas, so excited to get that going. As you guys know, we have a new app, so with that, we're going to be rolling out a new library website in the future. So we'll be working with all the different departments, specifically development and promotion, to migrate our current website to Communico. Also, we would like to investigate installing assistive technology to help with real-time translation at the desks, specifically the information desks, so that staff can help patrons who may or may not speak English as their first language. And then we would like to have real-time text translation on a small screen so that it's not all by ear. So that's planned for under Enrich. We've got a few more under Enrich here. One of the complaints we've been getting is that the catalog machines are not highly visible. Sometimes people walk past them. So we want to improve the machines because they're old. And we also, with these newer machines, we'll be able to have wireless, so we could put them in more strategic locations. And we would also like to improve the signage for catalog machines. Recently, the library installed a VPN, which is a virtual private network, which allows us to do outreach events as if we were here. So we could do remote library card registration, and we've investigated some portable RFID technology to even do some remote checkout if we like. So those are some things that we're kind of spinning ideas on, and have some meetings coming up about those. And under Empower, we'd like to install collaborative technology in the study rooms. We're not really sure what that is yet, but going to investigate ways that patrons can hook up their laptops and collaborate. So right now we have, if you walk by the glass rooms, there's a lot of times people are huddling around a laptop. So we'd like to find an easy way to plug in and have it display either on a screen or something along those lines for collaboration.
But it's as of right now, you don't know any technology that...
I do.
Okay.
We want it to be as user-friendly as possible, so that I've worked with some at the Granger Library where you plug it in and there's a button on the cord and it puts it right on the screen for you, and somebody else can have their own laptop plugged in and push their button and go back and forth and say, I want to show you this, or I want to show you this. Collaboration is a huge thing in libraries these days, so, and it could be used by patrons, staff, anyone. So
Right now, do they have something where a single person can put it up on a screen?
No.
From one, oh, not even.
we've got projector in here, projector in there, so that would be really nice.
That would be,
To have smaller meeting rooms.
that would basically be a cord. Oh, you don't have a projector up there.
No, well, I was just talking about the quiet study rooms.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's one person in there reading or taking a test, but sometimes there'll be 4 or 5 people in there. And we'll have 1 or 2 people reserved the conference room just for 2 people to use the projector. So
Gotcha.
it'd be really nice to have some more
So
collaboration spaces.
are you thinking about getting like the consumer type little projectors that you can use with your phone and all that kind of stuff?
Those are pretty neat. It sounds like that might be a little hard to support, but one of the things that I've seen that's common is a screen at the end of the table. Those are small rooms, so it wouldn't take much. Even 24 inch would be huge in there, 32 inch. We have, we're getting a panel installed over here that's programmed to turn on the projector, and so you just push on and it turns on the projector. You push another button and it goes to your computer. So some kind of programmable buttons to where it's just as easy as possible for anyone to walk in and
So you're just gonna
Pop right in.
probably just get a monitor of sorts?
possibly,
and
yeah.
have it-
We haven't really went all the way down that road yet, but it's definitely exciting, and it's stuff that you see happening more and more.
Okay.
I know in Granger they've got probably 20 of them in the basement, and people really trying to work together in teams and study together, and all the different things.
Okay.
I walk by the glass rooms and they're pretty much always in use, so we think that would be a good addition.
Okay.
And then the last one here is under enhance. We want to revise our cybersecurity plan and formalize and expand to be more proactive about training our staff to identify threats. So we've done a lot to shore up our security with our new firewall, for instance. But we could do more with staff training. So we could train about changing our passwords more often, phishing attacks. We can do fake phishing attacks, and training with that, social engineering awareness. So that's as simple as somebody, picking something out of the trash. All kinds of different ways for us to teach staff to be proactive in that department. Also, like I said earlier, we'd like to support future activity plans from the departments. So the departments are going to develop those, and once it's all compiled, we'll have a better picture to take our technology plan forward. And then another thing that especially Children's has wanted is we've been wanting to investigate self-checkout of tablets for patrons. So tablets take a lot of overhead to manage and to, because they're very personal devices, so to make them for everyone is very hard. And there's some new technologies, specifically library technology, that is like a docking station to where when you return it, it wipes itself, and whenever you check it out, you can pick children's or adults, and it'll come customized with whichever version. So that's something that hasn't even came out yet, but people have been talking to me about it, and Children's has been asking how we can get tablets in the kids' hands, and we definitely want to check it out.
And those would stay here in the building?
Yeah, so they actually have proximity detection. So if you leave the building, it breaks the device, so it becomes useless.
Okay.
So you can also set it up to where patrons can check them out. It just depends on how you set it up.
You'd have to have GPS and all that kind of stuff on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once you break the device, it's pretty useless. We do that with our hotspots right now. Patrons take home our wireless hotspots, and if they don't bring them back, we turn them off, and they don't have a wireless hotspot anymore. So it's a trust thing, but the proximity thing is a really neat idea. So there's a lot of cozy places to go hang out with the tablet. So Children's have been asking about this since I've been here, so I think it'd be good. And that's all.
Just
Go ahead.
got two questions, completely different areas. One's more out of curiosity. How old is our self-check?
That's
I
what
swear
I
it was
was
just like yesterday that we put it in. 6 years already.
Oh, wow.
Has the technology changed that much?
Well, here's the thing. So the self-checks are a kiosk with a built-in computer that wasn't that good to begin with and is now old. And we paid an extreme amount of money
Yes.
for them. But we've been investigating different options, and one of the options is to pay for just the software and supply our hardware. So a lot of times when those things go down, we have to call somebody, they send somebody from Peoria or wherever, they come 3 days later, then they order a part, and then 3 days later, we get the part. So this way we can have our own hardware with a RFID pad, a barcode scanner, receipt printer, all the things that we support already anyway. And that way, if there's a problem with the software, the vendor would remote in and fix it right away, much faster than waiting for somebody to come on site. So,
The economics of doing that?
well, we've looked at it, and computers are about, $500 for the computer and the monitor. We've added it all together, it's roughly $1,000 and
Per unit?
per unit, and then it's about $3,000 for the software, but that works for not just self-check, it's for everything. We could use it for circulation if we wanted to, we could use it for the lab, all kinds of stuff. So I think the kiosks were $15,000.
They
I
were
think
a
at the
lot.
time, they
Yes.
were, but that was almost a normal price at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, so if we do our own hardware, we can save a lot of money and also keep them running much smoother.
Do you feel that at this time, and probably the staff can answer better, they're highly used?
Right now, our highly used one is children's because the kids enjoy doing it themselves. My kid does. Yeah. Also, the DVD one is highly used because it's kind of like a self-serve video store.
Yeah, I like
So
it.
people come right in, they do it, they leave. One thing, we've done some studies, and one thing that people like about the Urbana Free Library is being able to interact with staff at the desk. So I can't remember our percentage.
Yeah,
Was it
this,
14?
oh, good, you
It's
have,
in your
it was-
statistics for
yeah.
your work pack, overall 16% for the year
16. I was going to
today.
say 14, so.
You know what, 14 this month, so you're
Wow,
very
okay.
good.
And I believe Champagne's somewhere
We
up
put it
around
together.
80%.
yes.
So that's one of the things people like about here is to come and, I love Brian. Brian's great. I like to talk to him, and he recommends things to me. So,
Yeah.
so we have reduced. We had 4 or 5, and now we just have 3.
Okay, that was my next question.
So 1 per floor. And one cool part about this software is that they say that, say summer reading, we get a bunch of people in children's, we can move it, put it down there, put it back. They're not these big giant things. So that would be helpful for, like if there's a big rush. So.
But will you have to simulate the cool blue light?
No. Yeah, that would be the hard part. I mean, you pay $10,000 for the cool blue light. But yeah, we're excited about it. We'd like to offer, a stand-up one or sit-down ones, or maybe one with adjustable table to accommodate patrons. So.
When will we be able to see this? I would like to have a time when we could see some of this technology in
These are
action.
just technologies we're exploring. We haven't
Okay.
done any purchasing. These are things we're
Okay.
looking at because, the vendors have consolidated over the years. There aren't that
Okay.
many vendors out there, but we're still looking at options. These are
Okay.
just things that have kind of caught our eye that we're going to look into further.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. So they'll definitely be out there
Kids will love it.
for you guys to. Yeah, the kids like the kiosk, but they are kind of tall anyway for children, so it would be nice to have a sit-down spot. And, I know they enjoy it. My kid does.
For those that were not here, we must have spent 3 years or more trying to get them, and they didn't seem to me like I'm like you. It was just yesterday, so.
It's technology, I
Second
mean,
question, completely different area.
Yeah, sure.
So you mentioned training for staff training, just more on cyber security related things. Any other training that you see that you either refreshing or things coming up? Because I know training just is kind of an ongoing,
Yeah.
things change. and
Yeah,
you-
very much so. That's something we've been talking about. We've been working a lot to shore up a lot of problems in the data center and with the network. Now we have pretty much an entirely new network. Spent a lot of time on that. So now that, and we replaced the entire computer lab upstairs, the entire computer lab downstairs. So now that, and our 12-year-old circuit machines that are like the nuts and bolts of this place. So now that we're more stable, got staff training, all kinds of stuff like that is kind of coming up. And then also with our activity plans, I think we'll get a lot of cool ideas from all around the library, so. Anybody else? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Exciting.
Do I have any requests to separate or to drop any of the consent agenda items? If not, do I have a motion to approve, and I'll read them. Board minutes of December 10, payroll of December 20, payroll of January 3, bills of December 13, bills of December 20, bills for January 3, and bills for January 10. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the action items. We have the budget amendment. 8.1, you have it in your packet, I think. Is there any questions?
There's a new one?
There was a new one, right?
Is that the one you handed in, Becky?
It has 3 items, if you have 3 items, it's the right one.
Okay, yeah,
It's the update, the email update,
yeah.
$300.
Yeah, it was moving money.
Okay, 1 second.
Thank you.
Ah, okay, thanks.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Different, so.
Yeah, it's not the email.
Okay.
Okay, the items are transfer from building repairs and maintenance to equipment, transferring from a salary line. Can we assume that that one is our past assistant director?
Office line,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And the transfer of 3 public education to other professional services. Okay. Any questions on any of those? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
I so moved.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. You beat me. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I thank you very much. Champaign Public Library invoice, basically because it's, of course, more than $10,000. This is twice a year we get billed?
We are billed twice a year, it's not this big twice a year.
Yeah, not this much, yeah. Any questions?
Yeah. Why do we pay them so much?
New.
They have the Polaris that we run our card catalog on.
Mhm.
They pay for that. We share the contract with them, but they pay, we reimburse them.
It's basically, if they pay 2/3, we pay 1/3.
Right, that's
Because of
what-
the size of the populations, and that's how we set up the contract from the beginning.
Okay.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it's everything related to the catalog, to the checkout, to patron accounts.
Servers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their servers. So, yeah, it's pretty much the linchpin of our operations.
Oh, okay.
What would the total bill be, the two together?
Well, if
$100,000.
38 is approximately a third.
A third?
If you
104.
double that, it would be
114,
Champagne's.
114,
Okay.
Yeah.
114.
Do I have a motion to, any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The invoice for EBSCO,
EBSCO, yeah.
EBSCO. Any questions?
What is EBSCO?
What is EBSCO?
EBSCO is a vendor through which we order many of our periodicals. We provide a wide variety of periodicals, and if we were to go through them individually, we would constantly be doing renewals back and forth, whereas we can pay EBSCO and they handle that part.
Okay.
And over the years, we have cut back on periodicals, so is that bill less, or is it still About the same.
That bill is less, and we base our decisions on circulation trends. I would anticipate that we would continue to see that bill adjust according to those circulation trends.
Also, fewer magazines are being published in
Yeah.
print,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sometimes they're, well, frequently just taken away. We're
But
not-
I would imagine that magazines have raised their prices too, so,
There is that too. Yeah.
so it's probably a draw.
Move approval?
Is second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Approved.
Communico.
Community invoice for 10,000. Communico. Communico is again,
It's the system that runs our app, and will run our website, and runs our events calendar.
okay. Any questions?
Nope.
$10,000, so that's at the Bright level. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I mean,
All
second.
those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Approve, disapprove, same sign. Approved. Adopt a technology plan for January 2000 to 21.
I so move.
I second it.
All those in favor? Any
Aye.
discussion?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Approved. Thank you. Policy of the vacation and leave policy.
Yeah.
Any questions?
I just, could somebody give a short explanation, because my eyes, I couldn't read all those.
Oh, my
red.
goodness, yeah, well, I apologize for that.
No, it's
One
okay.
of the things we're trying to do is get them all formatted the same.
Okay.
So that, all of that garbage was trying to make it look like the other policies.
Yeah.
So I
That's
do
big.
apologize for that, but the gist of it was, in the director's report, there, we took, because FMLA is so, Family Medical Leave Act is so complicated, to put procedures in there is a bad idea, because anytime the federal government changes, then we
Then you
have
have
to
to,
review for changes.
yeah.
So we just put that we're gonna follow the law and, administer it appropriately, and then we put the procedures out where they can be changed as necessary as the government,
Good idea.
decides. The city of Urbana also suggested some changes related to the military leave to get us on track with changes to those laws, and also get our language right with related to pregnancy and leave. There's been some changes to the law there that they suggested changes to. And I think the other one was just that it's vacation, putting vacation and leave is kind of redundant, because it's all the kinds of leave in the library. So we thought, let's just make it broader in terms of a need for the policy. And did I forget anything?
The changing of the vacation, how
Right.
it accrues,
Yet it is still the
Right.
same as far as staff benefits goes.
Yeah.
The way Munis works, following this policy of everything broken down by 1/26, each pay period
Oh.
is broken for us. It makes Becky or Eleanor have to do things manually every pay period, which could cause us to have errors, as opposed to if you multiply out how many hours a week someone worked towards the 100% of their employment, or 75%, the computer does the math for us without having to finagle. So again, for staff, it's the same. It just changes the mechanism. Since you described the mechanism in the policy, if we want to change how we do it, we have to interpret it.
Is there a motion to approve?
Oh, so moved.
Second?
Second?
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I thank you for that. Our next one is the acceptance of a gift. Some of you have known about this for some time. I want to tell you that this is something that is worked on for years. Helen was a neighbor and a friend of mine for about 40 years. And I'd like for you to know a little bit about her, since we got the approval to use her name. She was 93 years old when she died. She was born in Monticello, lived on a farm there. Her father owned the farm. She got an RN degree from Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis in '44, graduated from Millikan University in '51. She practiced nursing for 10 years in Alton and Monticello, including several years as teacher. Then she got her doctorate of podiatric medicine. Pediatric medicine, I don't know how to pronounce it. And from the school in Chicago, I thought it was interesting, it's Shoals School in '57. She practiced podiatry in Urbana. Those of you who've been out on East Main Street, the little doghouse, that was her roommate's business, and she had the business right next to it. She practiced for 45 years, so there probably are a lot of people in this town owe their walking ability to Helen. She was very active in the community. Altrusa was one of her things. She was the Auxiliary Coast Guard, past worthy matron of the Eastern Star, a lot of things in the Eastern Star and related to that. Member of the Piatt County Museum, Champaign County Historical Society. Taught Sunday school for 25 years at Grace United Methodist. Loved crossword puzzles, reading, travel. She did travel a lot. She had several roommates along the way, and they always spent the winter if they could in Florida when she wasn't practicing. So in my mind, like I say, she took a neighbor. And that's why one of the things I want to drive home is these gifts that are sizable
Yeah.
take time.
Yes.
And this was 40 years. I think I lay claim to about 3 people that we got gifts the last time we built, and this would be one of them, and it took 40 years to come to fruition. So I think it's commendable to know that there are people who will give, but we have to be patient. I guess the word there.
Thanks for that background.
Yeah, I thought you ought to know that
Yeah.
one. Most of you did not. Did
I
anybody, did you?
I did not.
No. Did you know her?
No.
That's interesting, that you wouldn't have known her.
I keep thinking I might have, but many years ago.
She lived on Brookwood Court all her life.
But she worked on Main Street.
But the building was on Main Street, at the east end of Main
I
there.
recall going to a podiatrist on Main Street, but I'm still not sure.
Well, she had
And
a
it was
partner at one
woman.
time, and that didn't hold very long, I don't think, but.
It's
So
like
we
in
have a
79.
resolution to accept this gift. I might say, I have counseled with her, I guess you'd say trustee at this point that's working with her, and she wanted very much to try to make things, for example, Women's Place that is out there, she gave them that land and they built on that. So she has been very much, she's a dog lover, so she's very much, we're not the only receivers of this kind of a money. Humane Society has probably received a similar amount. But what else did I want to say? Anyway, like I say, it's a wonderful gift. And, what I started to say was, I encouraged, talking with the attorney and with her roommate, that it be designated for future expansion of the library, and that's what it came through as. Now, we are, in this resolution, are accepting this gift. We will eventually, I plan, at least I hope that board approves, to pass it to the foundation. The foundation right now is not really in a position to, can I say, handle it the way we hope. So the foundation needs to work on it before we give it to them, right? Is that fair?
So here's what I would say.
Yeah.
The finance policy of the library board indicates, I don't have the language, but I can pull it up if you want it, indicates that when large gifts come in, or if our savings fund becomes over a particular amount that you determine, then these funds are shifted to the foundation for safekeeping. And the thing that Chris was referring to is that we would like the foundation to have like a gift letter, or not like, a gift letter, so that as you pass over funds to them, following your finance policy, that it's indicated and it's clear what the gifts are for, so that as they take stewardship of the funds, it's clear that, so for example, Vincent Green donated $300,000 a few years back for the equipping and building of a low vision room.
Oh, I remember that,
We
yeah.
obviously would want to make sure, if you chose to shift those funds to the foundation, that that restriction is shared with them as well, so that people's gifts are saved and spent on the things that they designated them for. And that's the thing that I think you were referring to.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't have it put together that way.
That's right.
But that's good.
So the foundation meets tomorrow, and we're going to
Yeah.
have that conversation.
So obviously, this is not a very controversial
Yeah.
resolution, but just a question. So if money goes to the foundation and, maybe it's 5 years or whatever until we get a chance to use it, they have a way of investing it so that it at least keeps up with inflation, or?
I can't really answer that right now, I think, but I think that's one of the things that we would encourage them to have before we even send it to them.
So they do have someone that works with their finances at UC. They have an
Yes.
investment consultant, and one thing that they are working on, or will be working on as of
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
is some type of investment policy.
Okay, so that it won't just shrink over
Yeah,
time
that-
as,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's the intention. So in your finance policy, you have language about extra funds being invested at interest or in CDs and such. So you have different options that you would lay out. Is there a priority for the library to do with our funds? And a similar note, the foundation will look at those kinds of things for the funds they steward for the library.
Does this include a policy about holding on to funds for a certain number of years?
It
like the
could.
university does? I'm just curious.
They don't have a policy like that yet, and our finance policy does not
No, it's
have
not.
a
Okay.
time limit. It is more, again, based on some type of number that you determine that
Okay.
once you feel like we have enough for our immediate needs,
Okay.
then funds are shipped to the foundation. And actually, later this year, we're going to look at the finance policy so we can readjust it here as well.
It might be good at the university. I mean, I hated it, but I could see why. They wanted to gather enough interest before they would fund some certain things.
Would that be particularly when they had designated like?
Yeah,
Like a
Yeah.
chair or something like that?
Yeah.
Because the university did have a policy on chairs, had to be a certain amount and such like that.
Yeah, books too. I mean, there were a lot of
Books, too.
things in the library. Not everything, but a lot of things, just so yeah, yes. is
We
the
might
answer.
want to remember that to bring
Yeah.
it to their attention.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Like I say, other questions, yeah.
Yeah, would expansion, because you said it's designated for expansion, would expansion include building even a smaller branch someplace else in Urbana that, for access to a different community closer? Would expansion include that, or does it mean just the main library?
I would need to, it says the words that are on your sheet are the words that are in the letter. It's not more specific than that.
Okay.
That's good.
Expansion.
Yeah.
So expansion
It could be.
Could be another
Yeah.
branch.
Interpreted.
Or could be interpreted,
I would think so.
it could be interpreted that way.
And the other gift that we're sitting on is 330?
300.
300. Okay. So I think that in terms of our long-range plans, we're putting some solid footing under that.
Yeah.
That's what my goal is.
And I have another question, and that, do we have to do a resolution like this for every gift? Or I want to understand what we're doing here.
Yeah, why are we,
Larger gifts or gifts that come with restrictions?
So larger means restrictions, it's not a monetary number.
So literally, if you didn't want to spend this money, if you weren't going to
Mhm.
promise to spend it on expansion, then you could not accept the gift.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
someone may say that they want to donate money to open a popcorn stand, whatever that is. That's not a thing that you would do necessarily.
How much money?
Right.
You like popcorn? So most gifts come either at a small dollar amount, so $10,000 is the point at
That's
which
what
I
I-
need permission.
okay, that's
So
what-
I tend to bring them either if they have a restriction or if they're over the $10,000.
Okay, I get it, thank you. Yeah.
do I have, yes?
Let me just speak to it for a second, because
Yeah.
there are circumstances when gifts, that there are certain donors that we would not want to receive gifts from. Are there certain restrictions that we would not find acceptable?
Uh-huh.
And so it is important that we have a protocol. So in some instances, that is staff-driven, as I understand it. So staff will make decisions at the lower level, and we count on them to tell us if there's a problem, and in case it needs to come to the board. But what Celeste is describing is obviously more significant gifts where the donor is putting limitations on them. And so, which sometimes that's the condition of getting the gift, right? So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
should be open to most of these. And do what Chris did, which was to kind of steer the donor to put it into a silo that was a useful one for us. It could go the other way too, where the donor is saying, I'll only do it because, I'm passionate about this particular topic, and then I don't care that it's not your priority, it's my priority. And then we have a decision to make as to whether
Yeah.
we want to let the tail wag the dog, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think it's appropriate for the board to consider that this is kind of the universe of these sorts of things that come in. It's helpful to have a policy like this so that we can make sure we protect, because we have a brand, and it can be jeopardized by things happening that may not be most appropriate, so
Yeah.
be careful.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, John, because we had one in the rare book room. It was an old gift where no LGBTQ books could be bought. And we wouldn't do that now, but it was there, and we should have policies about that. And do we?
We're looking at gift policies.
And that's what, okay, that's, because I would hope that would be part of it too, that there are some gifts. If I would not just say no, I would say, well, would you consider lifting that? Would you consider, but, because the way we did it in the rare book, in the library at that time, we wouldn't anymore, but we had other funds that we used for LGBTQ material. So it was tricky. I didn't like it. None of us liked it, but. That's all I have to say, but policy is important.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I think, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's what I was waiting for, was James. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. We have 9 ayes. No nays. Resolution 2003, authorize designated persons to secure and have access to the safe deposit box. Is there any questions? Are there any questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is board activity planning. In the past, we have had presentations to the board on a variety of topics, as you've had that in your packet. Barb has played very strongly into helping once she joined the board. The question kind of before us is, what do you want to do about them? Some of you are new, and do you want to look at those? Are there items on there that you'd like to have repeated? New adventures that aren't listed maybe, or we have the handbooks that you've got, and we've kind of followed those over the years. We've gotten completely through them, but that doesn't say we don't need to go through them again with new staff members, board members, I mean. What's your thoughts?
I wouldn't mind a repeat in some of the handbook subjects, just as a refresher, so just kind of do that cyclically.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I like the cyclical idea with the handbook too. I would also like to go back to when we had programs like on Makerspace and stuff like that. And I'm happy to meet with Celeste or to do that or somebody else. But I thought it was very useful.
I also thought as we are getting more into the execution phase of strategic planning activities, we might want
Yes.
some more informational items that relate to some of these activities we're
Yeah.
looking at.
Celeste, what do you want? Do you want a person to sit down with you and work through this, or what would?
Sorry, I want what you want, so.
What's your druthers? The last time around, it worked so effectively for Barb to go offer.
But I'm happy for somebody else to do it. I'm also happy to do it, either way.
Well, I
Or
think,
not.
this could happen several ways. One, it can be staff-driven, so I would think if there are contemporary issues that would be of interest to the board staff's probably the best at telling us what those are. I think any of us could say, boy, I'd really like to know more about this topic, and so the suggestion could come that way. Or you, Mr. President.
I think that Celeste has said she'd like to hear from us, so I think that we need to kind of have somebody So at this time, if nobody objects, I would like for Barb to still sit down with her and brainstorm maybe.
Yeah, and I'll assume she's got the ear of this, she's
Yeah,
listening to the
and I think
staff.
that what you're referring to,
So,
the things
yeah.
that staff see,
Yeah.
we might not. And
Yeah.
that would
Right.
be worthy.
Yeah.
Board capacity assessment. I'll just ask her, appoint her to work with you. What's the next item? I can't, board
Capacity.
capacity assessment, I don't remember what that is. You know?
So-
Mental capacity.
Yeah.
What are we talking
Oh, let's
about?
go. Please don't assess.
What is it?
I'm sorry.
So one of the things in the activity plan under Enhance is the board doing a capacity assessment, which could be any number of things. It could be looking at your different skill sets and looking at
Oh.
what kind of professions do you want, for example, represented on the board, of the different age groups you want represented on the board. Do you all feel comfortable looking at Excel spreadsheets? I mean, there are any number of ways and different kinds of capacity assessments. I can bring you some tools. There's board, there are places that have board capacity assessments.
Yeah.
Amanda has shared a couple with me, so partly my question to you is, for your part of strategic planning
Yes.
and moving the library ahead, do you want to think about doing a capacity assessment? If so, when do you want to do that and how would you like to move ahead? Again, I'm happy to bring information forward to you. Do you want to appoint a liaison? Do you want to, what do you want to do and when?
So in the director's report, it was, maybe he had the context of saying this is part of the enhanced goal too. And so we have been saying, all right, let's get on with things, where last semester was all the
Yeah.
putting together the plan, we have a plan, and so this is the time where we
Yes.
start moving forward on some of these items. And so, as appropriate to the board, here's an item that relates to the board. We cultivate continuous improvement among board and staff members to create increased engagement, satisfaction, retention. So the first part is the board, it's us. And we just talked about, for the last item is, what do we want to have presented or be part of a present, what do we want to learn? And so now the second part, as I'm understanding, is, would it be useful for us to look at where our core competencies across the whole
Yeah.
board lies, so that we know where to draw upon ourselves for resources as we are going in these activity execution stages, or where we have gaps and where we might need to go and get other expertise. So this is how I'm interpreting this. So Celeste, I say, yeah, if you have models where people have done capacity assessments, sure, I think that'd be very useful.
Well, I think it's a good opportunity to hold us as the board accountable
Accountable,
for
yeah.
our portion of this. You know, we're holding staff accountable for their end of achieving the missions and that we set forward. And I think the capacity assessment would go ways to help
Yeah.
drive the board presentations that we would want based on any kind of gaps or unique interests or skills that we might need to capitalize on.
I don't recall if we've ever done this, but in at least one of the other boards I'm on, we did a survey of board members, inviting them to identify the areas where we thought personally we could improve. And so
That's good.
Celeste's suggestion of a spreadsheet, I mean, some people do this kind of thing all the time. Some people almost never do and never understand them. So that would be an example of maybe some people would check that box, that they'd like to have more information on understanding financial statements. But there could be any number of other things, and I don't recall if we've done that as a board, with this board. Because that would be a way
Great idea.
of, because some of
Great
these
idea.
topics, some people probably wouldn't need training. But others, you know, might, and so we could create opportunities.
So we just have like a tutoring session.
Yeah, yeah, it could be one-on-one, or it could be as a group.
That's,
I'd
Yeah,
love that.
that's
Great
true.
idea.
yeah, I like it too. I like everything that's been said.
You're easy to please.
But we can't, but some
No,
of
not
us,
true.
but some of us can't knit.
Right, look at that, there we are.
That's okay.
Big
Some of
gap.
us can't sit still.
That's right, exactly.
Some of us have to keep our hands busy.
That's right, or my nails would be down to one.
Okay, let's move on to the liaison groups. Friends?
Nothing new
Nothing.
to report.
Foundation meets tomorrow, so there really probably is nothing new. Is there, Celeste? I can't think of anything. Rachel, anything new from Heartland?
So the Illinois Heartland Library System, Illinois State Library, and Illinois Complete Count Commission are working together to encourage libraries to partner and get the word out about the census. It is important that everybody's counted. It makes a difference for the services that we are able to offer locally in the state as well. So that is an initiative that they are moving forward. Of course, our library is involved with those efforts as well. The IHLS board nominations are now open, and there are 2 public library trustee positions that are open this go around. So if there are folks that might be interested, please see Celeste about the option to serve on Heartland's board, or at the very least if you're on the ballot.
And I would encourage board members to give this some thought. We have had, in my tenure on this board, a number of people have served on that. And I really feel it's important to keep our toe in the water. We're a big enough library that we could influence the way things happen in other towns. And so I think that if any of you give thought to it, it is much easier now. They don't do so much travel. They do more by telenet, I think. And so I think it's easier to serve on this. We've had board members travel to Carbondale, and Jeff Bent was our last one, and he traveled lots with that, I think.
Yeah, he did.
He loved it, but it was work. So if anybody's thinking about it, mention it to me that you'd like to be considered. You don't have to commit, just if you'd like to consider it, or even talk to Celeste. Yeah.
I sent an email earlier today with the nomination link, so you all
Oh,
have it.
okay, I didn't realize that.
Well, it's fresh news.
Okay, for administrative reports, and in President's report, I'd like to, at this time, have Donica, how do you pronounce it? Donica. Martin Stand, she is our new archivist, and she has been with the tell us just a little bit about your history with us and
Sure. I've been at the Urbana Free Library for 9 years now. I started as a shelfer and then a circulation clerk, archives assistant, and then archives librarian, and most recently, yesterday, I started as the director of the Champaign County Historical Archives.
And you worked,
Congratulations.
you worked as the assistant under Anka, right?
Yes, I was one of the archives
yeah.
librarians for 4 years.
Great.
So Anka was a great loss, but we welcome you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll put your feet to the fire.
I'm very excited. I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, I just wanted to make a comment about Celeste, the administrative report.
Yes.
At this time.
Okay, please.
Yes, I love the way you connected the strategic plan to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yes, and the technology, when he did the slides, same thing. Thank you.
I love that.
Well, what we heard you say is this is not a plan we want to put on the shelf.
Exactly.
This is a plan
Yes.
we are actively
Right.
using on a daily basis to inform the work that we do.
Yes.
And this is one of the ways we can reflect it back and help focus in those areas. Thank you, Barbara. Chris, I did have a...
Yes,
thing.
please.
I got a good piece of good news today you're going to be very happy about. A woman came to the library today from PACA, the Preservation Association of Champaign County, and the library is receiving an award for the renovation of the porch.
Oh, yay.
So the award ceremony is going to be at
Yes,
25
nice.
O'Clock Brewery on February 22nd from 6 to 8. I have nothing in writing yet, but that is the information that I have. And
Wow.
we are super excited to receive the recognition for the careful work that was done to make the porch the beautiful porch that it was. And
What kind of money did we spend on restoring the work? What kind of money did we spend for this award?
Well, actually, that's a foundation gift.
Oh, yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it was not inexpensive. It was over $100,000 to your point.
Yeah.
So it should be a lovely presentation. Again, once I have the details, let me know if you want to come, and they'll make sure they have enough food for everyone. There'll be pictures. There'll be some type of physical award we're getting, I believe, so, and then they'll be recognizing the architect and contractors that did the work. So that's,
What's
we're
the date
very
again?
excited to get that.
February 22nd, and I'm thinking,
February 22nd.
gosh, if it could have been February 29th, a week later, wouldn't that have been fun?
That would have been.
Yeah, right.
And then Rachel also had a district report.
Yes, relatively small update, but wanted to let you know that we are looking at consolidating our magazines and newspapers, which means that we will be able to open up the front reading room a little bit more, which is where we offer the UFL live concerts and some of our other programs, so that space will be better utilized for programs and paper use.
Excellent.
Good.
Are there other staff members that have things to offer? No? Okay. We're going to have to go into closed session for the next item, but would I have a board member recite the line and verses to go into closed session?
14.1,
Yes.
minutes of meetings lawfully closed under this act
Yeah.
for purpose of approval by the body of the minutes and for semi-annual review of the minutes as mandated by section 2.06 pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2 C parens 21 parens. Is that okay?
Yes.
And then 14.2.
14.2, approval of destruction of verbatim record pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2.06, C, the 1, the 2. Is that okay, or do I need
That's
to
fine.
do all the
That's
parens?
fine.
Okay.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Becky calls tent row.
Okay. John?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Sheree?
Aye.
Beth?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
Rupert?
Aye.
Jane? Is she with us?
I didn't,
Jane, yes? Aye?
yes.
Yes.
She did. Okay. And
I can call her, tell her I can call her myself.
Okay, well, I just hold on myself, and
Okay.
that doesn't have a connection.
yeah, we need to go to the
Okay,
next
so
room.
Jane, we're going to switch rooms, and then we will recall.